Get in, nerds. We are playing Burden of Command. So, we are in the midst of our assault on Villalure. We caught some enemy forces over here, trying to do us a flank. And we're not going to let that slide. So, we'll start with Dearborn. I just want to capture the last of these units over here so I can get my company properly concealed again. Chances are not great to do that. So I think we'll go in with this unit. So that means Rao is going to be leading. We'll take this officer. That's going to spawn another officer, but that's okay. We just need to get in position to take out this unit. Nice. Nice. Yep, so that puts him over there. Now we take this unit. Flanking morale boost. Wonderful. Why you? Because you're in position. I don't need to explain myself to you. I'm an officer. Oh, so cool and good at video games. All right, let's deal with this. And this should put the rest of our force fully back into concealment, which is what I want. Now, Lieutenant Rao has a squad over here and a squad over here. I'm first going to use one of his orders to rally himself and his squad here. And then we're going to grab his other squad, just the squad, please, and run them forward.
Let's march!
Get them up into these woods so that they're in cover. So that they're in cover and forward. Alright, and that pretty much covers this flank. So we're going to continue to move across here. And now the question becomes kind of how we deal with this. That's right, there's no visibility across this cliff face except here. So, and since I got a pretty good sense that there's not enemy units there, that makes this the perfect avenue of approach. I want to have my tanks covering that cliff. So once again, there's visual all up along here. So first I'm gonna, oh right, I'm still on Rao. Yes, I suppose I'll let the enemy do something. Uh-oh.
Nicht anhalten!
What?
Find a target!
Okay, they're bringing in more squads. All right, well maybe it was too much to hope for that these enemy units would just be hidden. But you know, we got them properly suppressed. So I think maybe we take an opportunity to get Lieutenant Thompson some experience and trust. I think that's what we're going to do. So we'll start by moving here. We'll take this squad.
Let's
Nice.
take some prisoners.
We'll make them quit. There we go. Beautiful. And then we'll head into the flank of this MG and take them as well.
Frag out!
Keller, take the lead.
Assaulted at the same time as he assaulted. What a hero. Alright, so that's pretty good. I'm going to grab command of Lieutenant Thompson's 3rd Squad and just move them through these woods to get them forward a bit. And then we'll put them here. And then I'm going to turn them this way. I just don't want to put myself in a position where the enemy can come up over this bridge and try to get my giblets. Alright. So, that's Thompson. Let's have Captain Murphy run over and rally his other squad.
Come on!
Beautiful. That gets them back up to 4 orders. I spent a lot of orders doing that rally, but it's alright. Let's see what the enemy does now. Well, this maneuver ended up being just enormously successful. I'm extremely pleased with the outcome, to be completely honest. So I think the next step is into these woods, so we can position ourselves to do a fast assault. No, I want to do the tank stuff. I want to do the tank stuff, and I think I want to get this mortar further forward. But first, the tank stuff.
Move it up.
Bogging down. The tank's engine revs hard as it begins to spew mud out the back like a rooster plume. The lovely green meadow means soft ground, and with steady rain that means trouble for tracks. Alright, so this tank's bogged. Sad, but it is what it is. Alright, so that means tanks need to stay on roads from here. Or do their best to. Because I think this is going to be a thing that there's a chance to happen every time there's a tank moving. So, we'll keep them to the roads for now. Unfortunately, Thompson is in the road. So for now, we're just going to move this tank up. I mean, I have to take him with. He's the tank. He's the tank commandingsman. Actually going to turn and face that way. Just so he's got full coverage of both of these potential lines of attack. And we'll grab our other less experienced Sherman and bring him up this way. And we'll leave them with one shot so that they can do shooting if the enemy comes up over the hill. And I think the rest of this turn is just going to be kind of repositioning so that we're on the other side of these woods, and we can come into here under stealth. So, let's do stern. Right, that's machine gun squad already shot over here. They're not low on morale. So first we'll do the mortar. Stern's actually only got one more order. So we'll move up. We'll move him up with this MG, and then we'll order the other MG to move forward with Captain Murphy. Unfortunately, this MG is only going to get one step because it takes an MG 2 orders to move. Grab this squad and continue to move them forward. Try to keep them off the road so that we can use that for the tanks. Alright, that's not looking too bad whatsoever. Alright, now it's time for Dearborn to go. Let's get you up into these woods. So these two objectives only have visibility to these spots. There's plenty of... I've got a lot of units that have visibility to this hex, and it's an open hex. So I don't think there's going to be enemy units there. Which means... I'm just going to try to get up into... this forested position. With an action point. Alright, we are concealed in there. We got an action point to shoot back if the enemy tries anything. That's very good. Now, Dearborn's other squad, I want to put right next to them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're not going to be able to get all the way in where I want them to be, but they'll be able to get close. They can get here. Alright. We are in here, we are hidden, we are ready to move on these objectives. If the enemy is smart, they'll put something here that can shoot at that into that graveyard. Oh no, that doesn't have visibility into the graveyard, so that means the graveyard is actually pretty well covered, which means if I can seize these two objectives, there's almost assuredly going to be German troops in there, but, you know, that's what we got all this for. Alright, let's get Lieutenant Dearborn forward. To join his squad. To join his platoon. To join the rest of his platoon, I should say. Alright, and I got one more order, but no one to really take command of, except this tank, and I can't take command of the tank because it's not part of my company. The one thing I could do is I could take command of this squad, but I don't think I necessarily need to. I'm in a good position, so let's end turn 6.
You know the drill.
Alright. Nothing extra. Oh, this squad is a little bit low morale. Not ideal to move forward with them. I've only got a few squads right up here. Right. These spots don't... Well, the graveyard's got visibility to this hex here. So I've got to be a little bit conscientious. Can't get to there. I could creep to here. And then, how's visibility from here? It's only to these hexes. So realistically, let's give it a shot. Really? I don't believe it for a second. Okay, enemy squad. Took a casualty. Alright, that is what it is. I knew they were going to be there. I'm not surprised. Let's creep this squad forward. Right, and they can't shoot there. I keep thinking this spot should be able to see that one, and it can't. Alright, so, you know, it's alright. It's alright. We did okay. Now I could bring this tank around. What's visibility look like from here? Only to the graveyard. Alright, and there's an MG. But we can surprise them. Nice. Undaunted. Wonderful. We're revealed, which is not ideal, but we're undaunted. Oh, we are not undaunted. We took a bunch of hits and stress. Urgh. Maybe the enemy was undaunted. Can't do that. Alright, so we'll need to bring up more support to deal with this. I could bring a tank around. I'd be risking a bog down. No, I think I'm bringing a tank up here. That's what I'm doing. Deal with this, and I'm really hoping that everything goes all right with that. We'll bring up more squads. We'll get more strength in those woods, and then we'll. Maybe I shouldn't have engaged so soon, but it is what it is. Our units are where they are. Maybe moving this squad around here is the right call. Anyway, that's Dearborn. Let's see what the enemy does. Now that I'm properly in the village. Ooh, that is good because now their MG is out of shots. Sadly, I can't. I did too much creeping, so I can't assault. Now, if I put a tank up here, there's a risk that's as far as they go. But I'm willing to take that to be able to get some shots in. It's got to be the tank leader. This is a giant risk, but I'm doing it. Alright, nothing up on this ridge. I'm not going to bolster because give me back my initiative chance. I'm not going to bolster because I don't need to. And having more tanks in here will be more useful than having this hit a little better. Beautiful. Not bad at all. Now if I bring this tank in here, can I shoot at that MG? No, I cannot. But I can have a lot of armored support. I'm moving tanks in ahead, which I almost never do. But we'll just cover this area, and if anyone tries to come up to shoot at us, we'll take them out. Now, at this point, I don't really have the ability to assault with that squad at the moment, since I've used up all of Dearborn's orders. But I could bring this squad up onto the hill and get him into a position. He would basically need to immediately assault next turn. I'm not going to do that until it's the very end of the turn. I'm going to leave him with one action point, potentially to bring in this other Sherman, once I got the road properly clear. So that's the tanks. Now, we'll see what the enemy does as a result of this. Okay, here's something. Are they shooting at my tanks or something? Yes, they're shooting at my tanks, but I didn't get to see from where. Nothing else has visibility over here. Alright. So, next we'll move up Thompson and his squads. No, next we'll move up Rao. I need more infantry support in this situation. to see over here? Doesn't look like it. Okay, no way I'm going to make that happen. Lieutenant Rao's got a squad over here. Then I can move up and get in position to get on the cliff. Actually, what I could do is I could take command of this squad and move them off. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to bring in Rao's squad to take the objective. Get him! Yeah! I'm in Villalure, friends. I've got an objective. If I run Captain Murphy forward, I can bolster this squad and get them to hit this MG. Which might be absurd, but they're not in perfect morale, but if they're bolstered, they might be able to do it. This MG's got a lot of points, though. No, you know what, we'll stick with doing what we're doing. I'll be able to take them from behind with this squad, and that's much better than taking them from the front when they've got full morale. Or on the other hand, I could,
Keep moving.
what kind of coverage does this one have? Yep, they can see there. Alright, so that's not... That doesn't really help. Alright, I'm using Rao right now. Now is Rao's time. So we'll bring him and this squad forward. Alright, another MG in there. That's okay. That's okay. We'll be able to use the tanks to deal with them next turn. We just took some morale damage. Nothing serious. Okay. Next, Thompson's got a few squads. I'm going to bring him up and then off the road. Yes, he only goes marginally faster on the road.
Take cover.
That's a worrisome delay. Maybe there's something that can see me from over here. Oops. That wasn't what I meant to do. That's okay. Thompson's still got squads to move. I meant to do this. Because this is... Yeah. Maybe there's something over here that can see me. I don't know. Oh, there's visibility through here. That's what's going on. It's checking visibility through here. Okay, so I gotta be mindful of that. Alright, so next we'll bring up the third squad of Thompson's platoon. I'm kind of creating a logjam here, but that's okay. Oh, Rao's up on the ridge. I don't love that Rao's up on the ridge. I didn't realize that. I thought this was... Well, it's still behind the woods. Alright, and then we'll bring... Now, if I take just Captain Murphy up. One, two, three, four. I don't know how far he's going to be able to move by himself. To figure that out, let's check just Lieutenant Stern. Oh, we got... I'm still holding Thompson. I don't need to be holding Thompson. So if I ask just Stern, you can go 2 spaces. So realistically, Captain Murphy's also going to only be able to go 2 spaces. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 5 to bolster, but he wouldn't be able to take control. So realistically, trying to get this objective this turn is a non-starter. So let's just have Captain Murphy run this squad up here. Sole survivor. What the hell? First Sergeant Grant says and gestures off to one side where a solitary American soldier, rifle slung, stands beside a broken down truck. Rifle sounds crack out in the distance, and somewhere out there a machine gun plays its grim tune, but the soldier doesn't seem to notice. Instead, he stares at a dead German soldier lying in the back of the ruined vehicle. Grant, bring him over here. Expend 1 order, investigate. Motion the soldier order. Over, expend 1 order, investigate. Walk over to the soldier, expend 1 order, investigate. Keep moving other soldiers at risk. Oh, I'll spend an order. I'm going to walk over there. You hurry over to the standing soldier. A bullet tugs at his sleeve a moment as you arrive, and that, at least, seems to Stern. Sorry, what? The soldier asks, standing tone. What are you doing, soldier? I don't recognize you. Nice day for a walk? Nice day for a walk? Sarcastic Captain Murphy. I guess, he says in distant tones. What unit are you with? First Sergeant Grant asks, doing my job since I'm just here to shoot the bull. Oh, first squad, first platoon, item company, he says, and squints in your direction. Is there a problem? Is there a problem? Is there a problem, First Sergeant? First Sergeant Grant notes to correct the soldier. Is there a problem, First Sergeant? First Sergeant Grant notes to correct the soldier. And the captain asks you a question. What's your name, soldier? Parker, PFC. He recites. First squad, first platoon, item company, 7th Infantry Regiment, 3rd Infantry, some Army, USA. He scratches his head a thoughtful moment, and you catch a glimpse of dry blood under his nails. Did you kill that German? Yeah, Parker says. It was him or me, and then it was him. Parker, why are you staring at a corpse? Because the rush wore off, and I felt so tired, Parker says, his eyes unfocused. Like I could sleep for a year, like all the others did at the company's CP. Like all the others did. What others? The whole company's CP, Captain. The whole company's CP. Captain, XP, both radio guys, Stevie and Dan, he says. This crowd MG opened up on us and cut right through. They all went down except for me. They couldn't touch me, so I started hunting them. Until this last guy came right at me. I was out of ammo, but the bayonet wasn't, so I get to live and he gets to die, and he gets to die just like everyone else. Fuck, Sergeant Grant says as the story winds up. PFC Parker, go find your unit. Yes, Captain, Parker says and ambles off, oblivious or impervious to the dangers around him. Hell of a thing, First Sergeant Grant notes as mortars boom in the background. He's lucky and unlucky, trust plus 10, XP plus 10. We gotta keep pushing before our luck runs out, realism plus 1. Luck is fickle, trust plus 20. They should award him a medal, trust plus 30. If he doesn't snap out of it, his luck will run out. We gotta keep pushing before our luck runs out. I'm not gonna look a chance to get an extra point of realism in the mouth. Nothing lasts forever. Parker survived what had killed a dozen others, but tomorrow will be a different day. A quieter day? Perhaps. Given that your fight is still going on, you turn your attention once more to command. Alright, so I spent an order. I've still got an order to play with. And now it is time for... Oh, Sole Survivor. Excellent. For Lieutenant Stern. I'm going to move this MG up here. And then get them properly off the road. I'm going to move the mortar. Uh-oh. Oh, camera panned and I got the fear. Just going to move them forward. Just gonna get them as many steps as I can. So let's do a range check on them. Their range is 20. So here's 4. Here's 8. Here's 12. Here's 16. And here's 20. So they can almost cover the entire battlefield from where they are. And then we'll grab Lieutenant Stern. Get him up here and just get him off the road. Alright, that's Stern's turn. And last things last, we'll bring up this. Last things last, we'll bring up this, our most experienced Sherman tank. We'll keep them on the road. Until I'm in town, that is. I'm going to put them, yeah, I'm going to put them here. And we'll just turn them this way. And that's all she wrote. I'm hesitating.
Watch your fire!
I'm going to put Captain Murphy up here in this squad.
Move!
I might need to in order to participate in the assault. All right.
Come on, we're behind schedule.
Keep it on!
We're not behind schedule. We're going exactly where we want to be going. All right. That is actually all the time we've got for this episode, my nerds. I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun. Villa Lure awaits. I'll see you on the other side.